Welcome back to our journey in Jogjakarta, the cultural capital of Indonesia. And for our first trip to the region, we chose to travel with Aneka Kartika Tours, experts in organizing upscale holidays in Indonesia, and Singapore Airlines and its sister carrier Silk Air for their luxurious in-flight service and extensive flight network in the region. It's our second day, and we're making our way through dark jungle roads to Borobodur in the outskirts of the city.
Wow, it's 4:30 in the morning, the sun hasn't even risen yet, but this is the best time to view the temple.
The pre-dawn calls to prayer from neighboring mosques is the only thing that reminds you that people live around here. Otherwise, the temple grounds are completely empty, just as they've been for the last 800 years when Borobudur was abandoned mysteriously.
Usually around 10 o'clock in the morning until the afternoon, but ever since they started opening the gates at 4 o'clock for morning tourists, people now have the chance to see Borobudur at sunrise. But even without the sun, it already looks so stunning. Just look at that silhouette with all those stupas.
You could admire the world's largest Buddhist structure from any angle or distance. It's that large and beautiful. But for the absolute best views, you have to race to the top and catch the sun just as it's about to rise above the peaks of Mount Merbabu and Merapi. Sunrise is a highlight of any visit to Borobudur. For many, it's a spiritual experience. For others, a chance to snap a once-in-a-lifetime selfie. Though, as I feared, the weather isn't always as friendly.
Our prayers must have been answered because just like that, the sky has cleared, the clouds have cleared, and Mount Merapi reveals herself to us.
Even though the crowd is starting to swell, the view framed by ancient stupas and images of Buddha inspire a collective silence and reverence, as I imagine the original builders intended. And if every your moment is interrupted by restless tourists, the vistas from the less crowded sections of the upper platform are equally breathless. Borobudur is so massive and so magnificent, it's hard to believe it was forgotten for so many centuries and only rediscovered by British archaeologists in 1814.
So the time when it was discovered was just visible a pile of like stone which covered by bushes, some vegetation. So people already saw that is a temple, but people didn't care about. And then when the governor came and then ordered the Cornelius to excavate. So the position of the temple is exact still there. So they renovated, just a lot of stone fell down and then renovated, build them up, and then we took a lot of new stone to help them in the right position. So the design is still original from the beginning, and it looks like mandala, which is square on the outside and in the inside is circular.
It's difficult to fathom how ancient builders could create a structure this complex and this exact without the use of modern construction equipment and scientific instruments. Indeed, Borobudur is the stuff alien conspiracy theorists obsess about. It seems too perfect for 9th century human engineers.
The most distinctive part of this temple would be the stupas, right? It's like all these stupas that create one big stupa,
Yeah, this is representing actually the highest level of life, which is nirvana. So these three levels of stupas, they are representing three different stages of heaven: nirvana, parinirvana, and mahanirvana. So that is maha, the greatest, the highest heaven. So we have here totally 72 stupas, with each one having a statue inside.
Borobudur, after all, is more than just an architectural marvel. It's a spiritual journey that takes Buddhist pilgrims on a clockwise route from base to top, passing through the life and teachings of the Lord Buddha, depicted in detail in over 2,600 stone bas-relief panels.
Yeah.
Go rush to the top.
Yes.
They forget that
Yes.
some of the most important works
Yes.
of the original builders
Yes.
are right here,
Yes.
close to the base.
So this is one of the most popular story of the Borobudur. Is called Lalita Vistara. Is telling about the life story of Buddha or biography of Buddha.
The reliefs recount the epic story of Gautama Buddha, his descent from divine spirit to human being, his life on earth as an Indian prince, and his journey from luxury to asceticism.
So just like the New Testament of the Bible, all these stories just build up to the one single most important moment
Yeah.
of the religion, the
Yes.
defining moment of religion. And in the case of Buddhism, it's the Enlightenment. And this is the panel.
This is the
that
panel.
explains it.
This panel before Buddha reached the enlightenment.
You don't have to be a Buddhist to feel a connection. In fact, most visitors to Borobudur are local Muslim tourists and school children. The temple for Buddha has long ceased to function exclusively as one. But even if Indonesia is predominantly Muslim today, Borobudur remains a proud symbol of Javanese culture and a source of inspiration for awestruck travelers like myself.
It's unbelievable. The visual splendor of Borobudur never seems to end. Just imagine these numbers. There are 3 kilometers, even more, of these walls and panels containing these magnificent bas-relief sculptures. Apart from that, 504 Buddhas and more than 1,500 stupas, all here in Borobudur. And from this perspective, you get a sense of that magnificence.
If not for the midday heat, I could marvel at the temple all day. Luckily, I'm off to my resort, where Borobudur follows, as he liked to say.
Welcome to the Plataran Resort and Spa.
This is really beautiful. It's
Thank you very much.
you have a view of Borobudur. This is probably the best view of Borobudur any hotel could have.
Yeah, it really gives you a feeling of the whole area. It's not only Borobudur itself, it's the background. You can see up to 2 mountains from here. You have the Menoreh Hills on the right side, the villages, the forest around it, and every day the lights are different, the atmosphere is different, and especially here at the patio, what's great is you have an experience we call Borobudur Follows.
Indeed, at the upscale Plataran Borobudur Resort and Spa, the temple does seem to follow you everywhere. From the terrace to the lobby and all the way to your suite.
Borobudur follows. You'll be hearing that term a lot during your stay at the resort, and for a very good reason, because in so many parts of the property, you have a view of Borobudur.
The view from the Padma Spa is simply spectacular, as serene as sunrise atop Borobudur itself. And even when it doesn't show up from the vantage point of your suite, you're guaranteed spectacular views of forest greenery just outside your villa and of the Menoreh Hills beyond. Local Javanese cuisine is another highlight of any stay at the Plataran Borobudur.
What we're having today for breakfast, I would imagine a lot of this is taken from the farms
nearby?
Yeah. It's very important for us to source locally. Luckily, there are many products available nearby. If not nearby, at least in the province or in the country. Nothing imported.
Even the herbal tea, the galangal and the jamu are delivered every morning by a lady from the village.
It's supposed to be medicine, but tastes nothing like medicine.
No.
The setting amidst the jungle, the view of Borobudur, and the flavors and aromas of authentic Javanese food in dishes like nasi goreng, lontong sayur, and bubur ayam, all bring you closer to the local village culture. And why foreign and local guests come here to sample a part of Java that's long disappeared from the big cities of Indonesia. A visit to Borobudur is enough to complete any trip to Central Java. But there's another UNESCO World Heritage Site on the way back to Jogjakarta that promises to awe even the most jaded traveler.
It's really amazing. I'm really surprised because of the sheer size and scale of Borobudur close by. Prambanan over here is usually overlooked by most tourists, which is a shame really, because as you can see very clearly in the daylight, it's equally majestic. There are 240 individual temples inside a complex. So let's go take a look.
The Hindu shrine of Prambanan was built about the same time as Borobudur and constructed to rival it. The holy site where 240 temples once stood has been reduced to only a handful due to volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and neglect. But the ornately sculpted, towering pointed structures that remain are sublime nevertheless. Prambanan is dedicated to the Hindu Trimurti of Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the transformer. The three largest temples were built for each of them, though Shiva's is considered the most sacred, and thus the grandest and most visited of the three. Like Borobudur, Prambanan has been embraced by the local Muslim population, at least as a symbol of Javanese culture, of their ingenuity and spirituality.
There must be something really, truly, and genuinely special about Java and Jogjakarta in particular. Just think of it. Borobudur, the greatest Buddhist temple in Southeast Asia, and Prambanan, the largest Hindu temple in the region, are both located here. So what is it exactly about this place?
The answer perhaps is revealed in the rich landscape of the region, in the fertile soil that gave rise to ancient civilizations, and in the deep faith of its people, who embraced three of the world's great religions. Or maybe it's just a historical accident. But whatever the reason, there's no denying Jogjakarta remains the spiritual soul and cultural heart of Indonesia.
And that's all for this episode of Executive Class. I'm David Celdran. Thanks for watching.